Growing anger surrounds the brutal actions of the United States Immigration and Customs Enforcement Agency. Democrats are sharply critical, but the Trump administration presents the events differently. In Minneapolis, a United States Border Patrol officer shot and killed a United States citizen, triggering fierce protests and sharp criticism from local politicians. While the United States Department of Homeland Security described the incident as self-defense against an attack, eyewitness videos appear to contradict this account. According to the department, a Border Patrol officer used his weapon in self-defense after a man approached with a pistol and violently resisted being disarmed. However, videos show the man holding a cell phone, attempting to assist other demonstrators who had been pushed to the ground by officers. When one officer deployed pepper spray against him, he was wrestled to the ground by several other officers. The footage ultimately shows one of the officers seemingly taking a weapon from the man and moving away from the group. Moments later, another officer fired 4 shots into the back of the man, who was lying on the ground at close range. After the man was on the ground, additional shots could be heard. The deceased was identified as 37-year-old United States citizen Alex Pretti, who worked as an intensive care nurse. And Minnesota's Governor Tim Walz reacted with horror. Quote, "I have seen the video from multiple angles, and it is disgusting," he said. The Democrat called on Trump in a press conference to withdraw federal forces from Minnesota. Quote, "They are sowing chaos and violence, and we cannot live like this. Our children are traumatized." On the social media platform X, Governor Walz also wrote, quote, "Minnesota has had enough. Withdraw the thousands of violent, untrained police from Minnesota. Now." Governor Walz announced that the state of Minnesota would handle the investigation into the fatal shooting itself, stating that the Trump administration could not be trusted. Quote, "Minnesota's justice system will have the final word on this matter. It must have the final word," he said at a press conference. This occupation of Minnesota by the government has long had nothing to do with enforcing immigration laws. It is a campaign of organized brutality against the population of our state. Minneapolis's Democratic Mayor, Jacob Frey, addressed United States President Donald Trump directly in a press conference, quote, "How many Americans must still die or be severely injured for this operation to end?" He added that if the mission's goal was to ensure peace and security, it was achieving precisely the opposite. The governor of Illinois, J.B. Pritzker, whose state includes Chicago, where earlier large protests against these deployments had occurred, called on X for both Republican and Democratic governors to provide a joint response. Quote, "We all must stand against the lawlessness prevailing in our cities," the Democrat stated. Trump, in turn, accused local politicians of inciting opposition. Quote, "The mayor and the governor are stoking an insurrection with their pompous, dangerous, and arrogant rhetoric," the Republican president wrote on social media. Quote, "Where was the local police? Why weren't they allowed to protect the immigration and customs enforcement officers? Did the governor and the mayor withdraw them?" Trump claimed the man was armed and ready to go. He suggested the events in Minneapolis served to cover up theft and fraud, apparently referring to an alleged Social Security fraud scandal in the state of Minnesota. And Vice President JD Vance also accused local politicians of denying local police support to immigration officers. Secretary of Homeland Security Kristi Noem further claimed Pretti was not there to protest peacefully. Quote, "He was there to commit violence." Trump's influential Deputy Chief of Staff, Stephen Miller, echoed this view. He even labeled Pretti, who had no prior criminal record, a domestic terrorist after the bloody incident. On X, Miller also criticized statements from Democratic politicians. Quote, A wannabe assassin tried to murder federal agents, and the official Democratic narrative sides with the terrorists. And the National Rifle Association also attempted to shift blame onto progressive forces in the United States. Quote, "For months, radical progressive politicians like Tim Walz have been inciting violence against police officers who are merely trying to do their job," the organization wrote on X. It is not surprising that these calls to dangerously interfere with legitimate law enforcement actions ended in violence and tragically led to injuries and deaths. The National Rifle Association, however, also sharply criticized the statement from Republican State Prosecutor Bill Essayli. The lawyer responsible for California's Central District had written after the fatal shooting by an Immigration and Customs Enforcement officer. Quote, "If you approach the police with a weapon, there is a high probability that they are legally justified in shooting you." The National Rifle Association called this statement dangerous and false and added, quote, "Responsible public voices should await a full investigation instead of making generalizations and demonizing law-abiding citizens. Stay tuned for more updates on this developing story. This video was generated using artificial intelligence. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more updates. See you next time.